Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an absolutely fantastic day. As always, a great way to support the channel is by leaving a like, by leaving a comment, by leaving 2 comments or 3 comments or 4 comments, or telling me what you're having for breakfast, or by subscribing if you have not already done so. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. The news thus far, as I've been looking around in the early wee mornings of the hour, is that it looks like, as if, not sure, however, many analysts are saying that it looks as if the cryptocurrency market is about to move back up. There were an enormous amount of articles basically saying what it says on the screen. It says Bitcoin signals fresh increase. Here's why 37,000 is the key. Bitcoin lags a seemingly imminent 35% breakout to 50,000 US dollars. This is all over the place. Everyone's talking about prices are going up. They're going to be moving a lot higher. Bitcoin looks like it is signaling for the moment where it's going to start moving higher back to the previous prices that we've had before. It says ADA price ready to move above $1.80. I'm actually quite happy that a lot of the altcoins have fared quite well over the last recent dips that we had in the cryptocurrency space. A lot of them fell down harshly, but then kind of recovered to basically kind of ish back where they were before Bitcoin had a complete mental breakdown. That's basically all the price news. Not a lot of it, because it was all kind of mimicking each other. It was all this, Bitcoin looks like it's ready. Bitcoin's going to move. Bitcoin has to break past X number in order to be able to hit 50,000, which is for some reason analytically, not a word, the number that we have to hit. 50K is apparently the target that everyone is kind of aiming for. On top of that, the first analyst to apply the stock to flow model to Bitcoin says that institutions are deliberately pushing the price of Bitcoin down in an effort to accumulate cheap Bitcoin. In an episode of the Bitcoin Fundamentals with Preston Pish, Plan B said that Bitcoin's price action in the last few months suggests that someone is trying to influence the market behind the scenes. You know, it's one thing when we kind of, talk here about it, and it's been fairly obvious. The amount of news that we've been getting has been way too good. And this has been since the beginning. I mean, listen, since even September of last year, every single day there's another institution buying. There's another bank. There's another rich family, another country, hint, wink, who is buying Bitcoin in some form or fashion. And then our prices started going down. And it's really interesting because there's actually a chart which shows that this was definitely taking place. They were manipulating the price to push it down so that they could accumulate. He said the price action that we saw last month, and especially this month, the down action, was always in the illiquid hours of the market. So it was deliberately destructive. It was not sold by someone who wanted the most dollars for his Bitcoin. It was sold at illiquid times in the market with far too big of a chunk to get a good price. So it was destructive selling. According to the quant analyst, he sees a clear pattern of destructive selling in the market, which he says is indicative of institutional players accumulating the largest crypto asset. He said, actually, if you look at the price charts, for example, the daily chart for the last couple of months, you see that all these destructive selling events, all this selling, which by the way took place at the end of the month, strangely, all that selling was bought within 1 or 2 weeks. It looks like a V-shaped recovery within 2 weeks. That also is, for me, a bit of a hallmark of institutional buying, that they scare people out of their position. They, together with their over-the-counter desks, scare retail and normal people out of their positions, even liquidate people out of their positions, and then buy the scraps in the weeks after it. We had this discussion sometime, I think at the beginning of last week. It definitely wasn't towards the end, but it's been at least a week at this point, where we were getting other people who were saying, and we've said this 1,000 times together, if you've never been here before, understand once again that the cryptocurrency market is extremely volatile, but these movements right now are not normal at all. It's people pushing the market down. There's actually, it was last week. There's a video, I'm sure you can find it. There's a guy on YouTube, I don't know his channel's name, where he's talking about the Wyckoff chart. That is Wyckoff is Wyckoff. You'll find it in some sort of way, where basically he is showing the deliberate movements from a chart from like 1910, basically the textbook on how to manipulate a market and how to get people out of it. Every movement that we've seen thus far over the last couple of months have basically been to get people hyped into the market, to drive prices up with brand new people, to slam the price down. And if you do this enough over and over and over, you psychologically, I guess that's the way you would kind of say it, get people very fatigued with the market. They no longer want to be in the market. So there's nothing but cheap Bitcoin on the market that is then there for institutions to be able to buy. I need everyone to understand where we're going right now with Bitcoin and exactly what's taking place and where we will be in 5 years. About a good 95% of the market is not paying attention. They don't read the news. They don't hear me saying the news. The news does not interest them. What interests them is very quick, short-term gains in their pocket. They made $15,000, $25,000, $125,000, not understanding that the institutions, the banks, the countries are buying up as much Bitcoin as they possibly can. All the leaked documents that we received from the biggest banks on the planet have stated that Bitcoin is going to be way above $500,000 over the next year or two. The point is, without having to get really too deep into that, because we're about to also dive a little bit more, is that it's evident that these movements have been products of manipulation. I opened up the chart that he actually has, and it's impossible. Like when I try to zoom out of it, it only makes the chart a lot bigger. So this is kind of the chart that we get, if you will. But I mean, at least it's zoomed in so everyone can kind of see it. These are the movements in the market that we've been having. And then immediately after, there's a move back up in price after the institutions have accumulated what they want to accumulate. This is from the beginning of this year. So starting in January is kind of when we saw these movements of mass accumulation. There's the drop down. There's the buyback right here in this one candle. Goes back to the same exact thing. Smash it down deliberately. Buyback. Brand new all-time high. Smash down. Buyback. Same exact thing over and over. And this is where we currently are right now, assuming that if the other patterns are correct, that this will then move us into a new, all-time high, what have you, for Bitcoin's price, especially as Plan B and many other people have been indicating that by, I think, August, we could be over a $100,000 Bitcoin, but of course that is yet to be seen. So yeah, I guess that's all the price news, if you will. I know it's difficult to hold steady or not to get shaken out of the market. It is a very ridiculously weird market, but just understand that this is all happening on purpose because they're trying to they're trying to get everyone else out of the market except for the richest people so that they once again control and hold all the wealth. That's just how our world works. And without further ado, let's move on. In the most popular news, and I mean rightfully so, if you read this news or heard about this news and you did not get excited, you do not understand what is currently taking place. If you saw this news and went, okay, well, it's South America, you will be angry with yourself in 5 years because you did not get it. For those of you who have not heard, have not seen, somebody was asking me yesterday why I did not put this in the video. I was doing many things. I made the first video very early in the morning, or the video that I put out very early in the morning, and then I had to go outside and do stuff. This is probably one of the most significant things that we will have heard about this year thus far. The president of El Salvador has announced that he this week is going to, I think he put forth a bill that this week is going to declare Bitcoin as legal tender within the country. This means that they are, if all logic plays out, they are going to be the country accumulating Bitcoin as part of their actual reserve for the country. Usually you would accumulate the US dollar or maybe gold as a way to base your money, but Bitcoin is going to be actual money in that country. This should also logically mean that there will be no capital gains tax on the actual movement of crypto because it is legal tender. This is incredible. what we are currently entering, and you may have heard this from me a little bit ago, is something called hyper Bitcoinization. There are many countries on the planet right now whose economies are absolute garbage. The introduction of Bitcoin as a payment method, as legal tender, as the basis of your currency or the actual currency itself is going to send this country, their GDP is, oh my gosh, like I can't, it's impossible. So remember I told you before when I try to say stuff, did you ever see that episode of The Simpsons? Segue. That episode of The Simpsons where Mr. Burns goes to the doctor and the doctor shows him like all these little like fluffy toys and he's trying to push all of them through the door at the exact same time. And none of them go because they're all forced, you know, so that's what happens to my brain when I'm trying to say things. Other Latin American countries are going to take notice. The same exact way. Remember sometime last year when we had indications that PayPal was looking to get into the cryptocurrency space and any other company, just in general. I said what happens is that when that company gets into the cryptocurrency space and during the next quarter they show, hey, we made $347 million by doing absolutely nothing, whether we bought Bitcoin and held it or we offered it as a service. Other companies go, we have to get into that. This is an amazing chunk of what our company could actually be made of. When the price of Bitcoin starts rising rapidly, especially when this country starts to declare how much Bitcoin that they have and how much more they're accumulating per month, other countries are going to take notice. If we end up hitting a $100,000 Bitcoin within the next couple of months, and this country has tripled their money, what do you think happens to the other countries around them or any other country who's currently undergoing hyperinflation? They go, we have to buy 10,000 Bitcoin. The amount of Bitcoin that's already on the market is not really there. I've tried going over that with a lot of you before. I'm not sure if it's really hitting or ticking or clicking, whatever kind of thing is going. This is, and you know what really bothers me as well? A huge portion of the news over the weekend was just revolving around Elon Musk. And there was also news that I think that Elon Musk said something about Dogecoin and about something else, and Charles Hoskinson and Vitalik Buterin gave like a rebuttal or replied back to Elon, and that was like, oh my gosh, you can't believe it happened. And it's like, are you people serious? The news that we had when Iran openly, when Venezuela openly announced last year that they not even requested, that they told their army to start mining Bitcoin. The news that we had that there were 8 countries on this planet who were under US sanctions, who were accumulating and mining Bitcoin and using that for trade amongst themselves. And I know this news will barely make a blip. And you don't get it. I don't understand why people are this way in the cryptocurrency market. Why everyone is so concerned with, like, I get it. I get the price movements of Shiba Inu, and I get the price movements of where Litecoin could potentially go, and I get the fact that this coin could potentially do this. Bitcoin is taking over the world. Do you not understand the significance? This coin has been out for 12 and a half, 13 years. There are countries using it to trade amongst themselves to get around the US dollar. All the news this morning on Twitter and other places were Elon Musk, Vitalik Buterin, and how high Bitcoin's going to go. When I first got into crypto years ago, this was a myth. The idea of a country even thinking of announcing that they were getting into Bitcoin was the same as the Loch Ness Monster fighting Godzilla on Mars. It just simply did not make any sense. The biggest kind of news that we had was that eBay was potentially maybe thinking of accepting Bitcoin back in 2013. That was the moon for us. There were so many of the very early names in crypto who announced, and I remember I said this years ago. I told all of you this. This is why I say one of the few people who should actually be paid attention to in the cryptocurrency space is Andreas Antonopoulos, because he said all of this years ago. What we are currently seeing right now on the screen in front of you is the domino effect. There are 7 to 8 other countries who are already accumulating Bitcoin. Every day, they're mining it. They're adding it to their coffers, to their actual country reserves, to not have to do this to the US dollar, because they see that the US dollar, if their currency is failing, the US dollar is also failing. They have to find a better substitute. How you could even argue that Bitcoin is not going to beat it at this point, it means you do not understand economics. You do not understand what's happening in the world right now. You don't understand economics. You don't understand inflation. You don't understand that there is a 0% chance of Bitcoin Cash, Satoshi's vision, or Bitcoin Cash or Litecoin or any other thing taking over Bitcoin. You're not getting it, and you probably never ever will, and it makes me very, very sad. When we had, what was the other thing that we had? There was some other country who announced something. This was weeks and weeks ago. And the comment section was like, well, Bitcoin only does 3 transactions per second. It's not about Bitcoin being able to do tons of transactions per second. It's Bitcoin being used as the basis for other currencies or as the actual currency. And then even then, I had to announce to everyone, we have the Lightning Network. Over the last 3 months, we've had about 7 companies who've announced their support and building up of the Lightning Network. For those of you who don't know what the Lightning Network is, it already gives Bitcoin hundreds of transactions, even thousands of transactions per second. As this continues to expand, we're going to have millions of transactions per second, and the fee of it will be 1/100th of 1 cent. There will be no fee. Transactions are instantaneous. There's no longer a conversation of Bitcoin being too slow. We're going to have private So the point is, it really riles me up, because I know that there will be people in the comment section who want to have a laugh, and they'll simply make fun, and they'll go, well, Bitcoin's too slow. But I know that the other 95% really don't get it. Do you really think that at some point El Salvador and the other 8 countries are going to go, Dogecoin? Shiba? Let's adopt Shiba Inu. This has been planned for years. This is not coming out of the blue. When we had indications last year that all these mega institutions and banks had been into and buying Bitcoin since 2014, I realized that other people simply did not get it. We are going to hear about other countries in Latin America who are also going to be adopting Bitcoin. It's going to happen. And the worst part is there are so many people who are buying these other crappy coins. Now, I understand there is a method to this madness. And I've discussed this with my friends as well. A lot of people do trade altcoins to accumulate more Bitcoin. That makes perfect sense. But to think that Bitcoin is not it, have you not seen the last 1,500 videos on this channel? So anyway, that is the most important news that we've had in a very long time. A large, gigantic fraction of the cryptocurrency space is going to be incredibly upset with themselves because you keep lying to yourself and telling yourself that these other coins are going to outpace Bitcoin, and they're not. They're simply not going to do so. So anyway, yeah, that's the El Salvador news. And let's move on. Next up, by partnering with GHOC, 21 Shares is set to launch a Bitcoin exchange-traded product on Aquis Exchange for professional investors based in the United Kingdom and France of this summer. Institutional investors based in the United Kingdom and France will be able to receive Bitcoin exposure through a Bitcoin exchange-traded product launched by 21 Shares. The Swiss organization announced that its exchange-traded product tracking the performance of the largest cryptocurrency will be available on Aquis's exchange. This is, I think I've lost count at this point. This is yet another Bitcoin ETP, ETF, ETN that is being launched within Europe that is going to allow people to have exposure to Bitcoin in some sort of way. All of these funds are going to be buying the actual physical Bitcoin, which is going to be quite fascinating as we continue to see the numbers that they're also accumulating Not really much more to say. This is just another fund that's being launched. I think I don't know the date. One of the Bitcoin ETFs in the States is coming to term. So we will be receiving what's the word? The confirmation or whatever from the SEC relatively soon. It's not going to happen. We won't have one anytime soon in the States. But everywhere else in the world is getting them. So just something to keep in mind. Let's move on. Next up, crypto exchange BitMEX is sending Bitcoin to the moon. A one-of-a-kind physical Bitcoin will be created and delivered to the moon by a leading space robotics company that BitMEX supports. The coin will hold 1 Bitcoin and an address that will be released to the public, which is okay. So this is not the first time that something like this has happened. It's clearly a bit of a publicity stunt because it's sending Bitcoin literally to the moon. But there was stuff years ago where people were kind of doing stuff like this, and there was like an address that was kind of like a burn address, if you will, where any Bitcoin that got sent to this was never going to be touched. I think it had a Bitcoin inside of it, and people kept on sending like more fragments of Bitcoin to it, I guess, to try and decrease the supply. I don't know why people are getting rid of their Satoshis, but yeah. BitMEX announced on Friday that Bitcoin is going to the moon. While many say that Bitcoin's price has gone to the moon several times before, BitMEX means that this time a physical Bitcoin will be literally launched to the moon. This is similar to the who just sent a whole bunch of Dogecoin to the moon, or there's some rocket ship that's also going to be there, or something about a moon and a moon. So they're actually sending a literal Bitcoin to the moon. I guess that's definitely going to be counted in the future numbers, like when we're going over how much Bitcoin is actually left. I guess that has to be counted now as well. Anyway, that's the Bitcoin is going to the moon news because it says it, so it's real. Let's move on. Next up, also in quite popular news, on the side of people talking about price predictions and where they think Bitcoin is going to go, the Winklevoss twins have stepped forward basically saying that they don't plan on selling any of their Bitcoin until it's at least at $500,000. I would read through this part, but whatever. This article is very oddly written. It says the Americans, now known as the Winklevi, just to give you a hint that, it's not. Anyway, so the point is, I'm pretty sure this was during the Bitcoin event. They basically stated at a $10 trillion market cap, we think one Bitcoin will be worth $500,000, and we think that it could happen inside this decade. We're hodlers until at least 500,000. Maybe and I'm sure they also know everything that's taking place. You can already buy everything in Bitcoin. Every country is adopting Bitcoin or legalizing Bitcoin. As this continues to happen, there will be even more things on a very niche basis that will allow us to be, paid in Bitcoin. So there's never actually going to be a reason where you have to cash out of Bitcoin because Bitcoin will simply be the currency. So anyway, that's the Winklevoss news, because this was also very popular. I think whenever people give like a number where they plan on selling, it's like, oh, well, that's the price target. No, Bitcoin's going to go a lot higher than $500,000. It would be funny, however, if they did sell at $500,000 and then they were never able to buy back in, but I doubt that's going to happen. Anyway, that's the Winklevoss news. Let's move on. Next up, also in popular news, I don't even know where the actual thing is. Basically, eToro has announced that they're also going to be moving to Miami. Does it say where they currently are located? Looking at the conference. Okay, they're in they're in Hoboken, New Jersey, and they're moving to Florida because logic. Miami has been extremely crypto friendly. What shadow is this? It's not from these buildings, is it? All right, I'm going to shut up. The point is, everyone, we keep getting news almost on a daily basis at this point that there are tons of companies who are moving to Florida, specifically Miami, because I'm pretty sure the taxes are lower. It's more crypto friendly. I'm always confused. I didn't even know New Jersey was a crypto anything, not to be mean to New Jersey, but it's the same exact thing with New York. It's kind of like, you know taxes are high. You know that the bit license is absolutely terrible. It takes like a year and a half to apply for it and then maybe potentially get it. Why are you in New York? You know Florida has sun, right? And you know it has a lot nicer weather. And anyway, so the news is that eToro, amongst many other companies, they're moving to Florida because, you know, logic. And to finish things off, this was a bit more popular than it actually should have been, but I mean, it's also, once again, the narrative that rich people have been buying Bitcoin for a very long time. Skateboarding legend Tony Hawk has purchased Bitcoin, or announced that he purchased Bitcoin back in 2012 and has remained a hodler ever since. During the ongoing 2021 Bitcoin conference, which was a poop show. It was ridiculous. Tony Hawk revealed that he purchased Bitcoin for the first time in 2012 after watching how it worked online. He added that he kept most of his holdings aside from donating some Bitcoin to charity organizations. So the news is that Tony Hawk has Bitcoin. I could even go so far as assuming, here are some assumptions. He probably bought more Bitcoin in 2013. He probably was an early investor in Coinbase and Gemini Exchange. He probably knows the Winklevoss twins. He's probably been to secret meetings that they've had before on secret islands, which has definitely been a thing a couple of years ago, talking about Bitcoin and where Bitcoin is going to go. He probably holds a huge, significant amount of Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure he did not say, nope, because he's smart. Also, remember this forever. Don't ever tell people how much Bitcoin you have. It's just not a thing that you should ever be doing. It's kind of like, once again, if you met somebody randomly on the street, would you tell them how much money you have in your bank account or in your back pocket or inside of your car? No. Then stop telling people how much crypto you have. I don't know why I keep seeing people in the comment section or on. I know everybody's getting excited. I know I got it. People announcing that they finally got their full Bitcoin. Don't do that. No. The only people who should know that are you, yourself, and you. Maybe your spouse. That's about it. I can't think of anybody else who would need to know that information. It's on a need to know basis, and they don't need to know. So anyway, Tony Hawk has Bitcoin. He's had it for almost a good 10 years now. So good for him. Once again, all the rich people own Bitcoin, so don't be shocked. Bitcoin was like 8.5 cents back then. Does it even say how much it was? Nope, doesn't even say. That means he got it for like pennies. So keep that in mind. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters, Professor Wally from Gunbot, Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Arachno Dave, Tony Ambroski, The Dealer's Den, Red Plum Tomato, Umnu, Wish Nikki the letter M, Stefan Dirks, Not Brain, Captain Something in the Z-Way Lay, Crypto Black Sheep, AJ Cut 5, Speedy 655, and Carlos was like, Mobarazi, Jojo, Shaw Show, VB Nerd 21, Miguel Grollet, Lauren De Silva, Quadabitty, Bare Bones Mining, Troy Allgood, Space Case, Need a Miracle, Paternoster, Conan, Don't Skip Leg Day, Snacky Chan, Tolik Banana, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Martin Stoyo, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, Ebibiophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Mo Hamaroni, Massive Ventures in Thailand, Jared Snyder, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Cole D3D, Damien Setsuna, Richie Richard III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mon, Gialavoti, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller, Hitch Chest, Everyday, and Kyle Skips Leg Day. Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Mouse Corner Staff, Bake Me a Cake, Tigera, Macho Nisa, All Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who is a new subscriber, who is a liker, who is a commenter, and all those other things. At the Memento, Bitcoin is at $36,051. It is down, up. Here's the up. Here's the down. Ethereum is up by 2%. ADA is up by 0.9%. Dogecoin is up by 2.2 percentile points. Everything is following Bitcoin's path. We'll see exactly where it's going to go. The analysts seem quite enthused about this week, and they believe that we are going to see some new sky-high prices. However, we need Bitcoin to actually move up because you see everyone's following the exact same pattern over and over. I do hope that you all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening and or supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.